at this time of the year in March, it's not the prettiest time of the year to visit the orchard.
No.
But for example, in May, it's the flower season, so all the orchards are in flower, so it's beautiful, it's white, it smells good, all in the town. When you come, open your window, and you smell it when you arrive and get out of the highway, like, it's amazing.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to All Beer Inside. I'm your not so humble host, Carp, and today I'm in Saint-Joseph-du-Lac, Quebec, with Élisabeth from Cidrerie Lacroix.
Yeah, hi.
Hi, thank you very much for hosting us and talking about your cidery today. I really appreciate that. Anybody who's willing to promote their business through our show, we always appreciate.
I'm glad that you're here in our orchard today and in our cidery to learn more about ciders, so it's great to have you here.
Awesome. So you brought me out some great looking ciders to try. What's this first one I'm trying?
Yeah, so the first one is the Gabrielle.
Okay.
It's the first cider that we did here. So it's a mix of apples, Macintosh, and Lobo.
Okay.
It's 7% of alcohol. So it's very apple upfront, so you'll see.
Toast.
Not too sweet.
Oh yeah, that's
really refreshing.
Delicious apple juice.
Yeah, but you need to be careful because it's 7%.
Yeah, I'm starting to get the tinge of the alcohol on like the back end. It's not it's not like super souring. It's not an apple punch like to the face. So. Yeah,
exactly, and it's not a really sweet cider. Some of our product are sweeter. This one is drier. So.
Yeah, that's very tasty. As mentioned pre-show, I'm primarily a beer drinker, but I do enjoy scotches, Quebec gins, and trying my cider journey as well. So there's a lot to discover in the province of Quebec and the province of Ontario when it comes to craft alcohol. So.
Yeah, and in cider you have such a different type of cider. Like you go from cider like this that are sparkling, more refreshing, that you can take as an apéro instead of a beer or white wine. And we have also licorice cider that are a little more aperitif. So you have a big range of flavor that you can taste.
Amazing. So what's the story of Lacroix? Why does Lacroix exist today?
So I'm the 5th generation of Lacroix in the apple industry.
Okay.
So so it's back in times, my grandfathers that started doing apples. 20 years ago, my parents started doing cider because my dad was someone really curious. And he liked to try a lot of stuff, and he's very creative. So he was curious about cider, so he did his class, and he started doing the Gabrielle, the first product, which is the name of my oldest sister. So that's the Heritage Legacy series, because these are the first cider that we did. And the Anne, that is a raspberry and apple cider, and finally ice cider. So this is how it started, because he was curious. Yeah,
that's amazing. Does he come from a science background, or was he anything like that, or it's just I'm going to make science?
Not at all. It just like we had apples, and we did transformation with food, so like caramel, jam, and pie and stuff like that. And he was interested in alcohol production, so he just tried it.
Oh. And very cool. And now it's here.
Now it's our main business now.
Do you know why your parents called it Lacroix and not Cidre Saint-Joseph-du-Lac or Cidre Local, like whatever other name? And why the family name?
Yeah, it's our family name, so it's our legacy. Like Verger Lacroix, it was the first name that we had, Verger Lacroix. And a few years ago, we did the switch to Cidrerie Lacroix to put the cider up front, because now the business has evolved. We started doing mostly apple growing and selling to like wholesalers, so to grocery stores. And now we are transforming our apples into cider, so it's our main business. So that's why we put it up front now.
Yeah. Plus, it's good to have the orchard. I mean, you're surrounded by orchards from my way up here. It's like Saint Eustache, which is right next door to just apple orchards, and there's like a beach club down the street. So.
Yeah, exactly. So there are a lot of orchards in the area. Like there are more than, I think, 140 orchards only in Saint-Joseph-du-Lac.
Wow.
So it's the apple land.
That's a lot. Yeah. It's a lot to visit. And when we first got here, I saw people doing the tour of the orchard, which is pretty cool. Is that something that's kind of regular is people come in, grab a cider, and then do the tour while they're drinking a cider? Or
Yeah, exactly. So the goal here is to connect the orchard, it's our roots, it's where everything begins, our story. So it's to connect the orchard with the apple production, with the cider production, and then people can also eat at our cider house, so they can enjoy food pairing, taste a lot of cider, and like we brought a variety of the flight here, but we have a lot of cider to taste and food pairing. So it's always apple up front. So even in the menu that you taste, it's cider and apples always.
So speaking of that, you do have a food and cider menu. Is there specific pairings for somebody who's very, very new to cider? Is there like, oh, if you're going to have this burger, try the Gabrielle or this cider? Or like, does the restaurant front have that type of thing?
Yes, exactly. So our staff is trained to help our customers to have a good cider that pair well with their food, but also with what they like. And some ciders are drier or more surfing on the natural wine, so it's not for everybody. So like they are trained to help our customers having a good experience here. And we have a lot of we have special menu. We do special event with a specific cider, and we also have the menu all year long available for this.
While your parents were creating the Cidrerie, was the government kind of like the local town against it, or was there any kind of problems they had? Obviously, your father discovering how to create cider, like any kind of roadblocks or problems creating Lacroix as a brand?
It's never easy to, I think, build something when it's in the alcohol industry, and we have the agriculture also side of the business. We have two regulations that we need to comply, so that's for sure a challenge. But at the end, we have a very good relationship with Saint-Joseph-du-Lac and the township and the other business in the area. It's like a small ecosystem where everybody wants Saint-Joseph to be a place where people come here. So we have a good relationship, and it's very, very helpful when we are creating all of this. So
it's quite a bit too. It'll be on camera, but
I would say that the worst part was to build a cider house during the pandemic. So before the pandemic, we didn't have the cider house where people can eat. So that was the biggest challenge because everything closed during 12 weeks. So and since then we open, close, open, close. So we're very glad that now we can open all year long.
Well, knock on wood. Hopefully, you know this. It's been rough, especially in Quebec. I find we've really struggled with the pandemic, and Ontario, like this eastern part of Canada, we've excessively struggled with the pandemic. And business is open, business is closed. Oh, you could go to a place. Oh, you got to wear a mask, but you don't have to wear a mask. And I'm like, just give me straight rules. I believe this is happening, and just tell me what I need to do to stop it from me going to my parents and getting them sick or anything like that. Like, tell me what I need to do. So, and with obviously creating alcohol, it's science. So that must be another thing. It's like, okay, let's follow what the science says, but at the same time, we're putting our science in a glass and cans and bottles to get out there. So Now, I've noticed you're at the SAQ and some select IGAs.
IGA, Metro, Couche-Tard. We have also e-com, so people can buy our ciders online. So that's cool. Also, it's thanks to the pandemic for this.
That's been, because, you know, we come from beer, and that's been one thing in Quebec, unfortunately, is the breweries weren't allowed to deliver, which is
cider
very
is
frustrating.
Special. It's a special regulation, so we can, on specific parameters, but still.
It should be across everything. If I want to order from former interview to Cidrerie Lacroix and get a gin delivered, get some cider delivered, and get some beer delivered, I think as a customer it should be an option. But
I agree, but unfortunately that's not how the law is written right now.
Maybe in time. Things change. Okay, what's cider number 2?
It's the Anne, this one in bottle. So it's raspberry and apple cider.
Beautiful nose.
And it's my favorite product. It's my favorite cider.
As you do. A toast.
Cheers. So
that nose is beautiful.
It's fresh raspberry that we press here. And we mix it with the apple juice during the fermentation, so it's really fresh, crisp, Yeah, this is one of my favorites.
This is wonderful. I'm very, very surprised how much I'm enjoying this. I'm a big fan of the redder fruits though, so maybe that's why. It's just, neither the raspberry or the apple are overpowering each other. It's really like incredibly well balanced.
You feel both fruits.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I said, just discovering everything from beer to cider to gins in Quebec specifically because it's mostly gin. I mean, Quebec is known for gin. So that's one thing is discovering all these alcohols and I'm like, oh, I never thought I'd enjoy this. Oh, wow. Oh, never. It's always been like, oh, beer, super hoppy IPAs. I'm like, no, I can drink something like this and enjoy it and be on a beach with a can to have something like this. And,
yeah, exactly.
Now, you do combination of cans and bottles. What made Lacroix decide to do both?
Yeah, so cans are easier to market. I believe there is a customer wants can also, so that's why we do cans now. And they are available, like as I say, everywhere in Quebec, in Metro, IGA, and Couche-Tard. So people can buy it in 8-pack, or so it's easy to bring somewhere with your friends and enjoy in a good company. Yeah. So bottles, it's you need to share it. So the can, it's a single serve, so it's easier. Yeah,
and personally, I'm always a fan of cans. They're just so easy to transport. And if I'm on a beach with friends or I'm at a baseball or softball game, I'm not worried about some kid running around.
You don't have to bring a glass.
Yeah, exactly.
Easier.
Or some kid like stepping on a can, they're probably not going to hurt their foot. It's a can.
Yeah, exactly.
No, it's very unique. And even your storefront, I noticed there's a big combination of Quebec local products and your cider. What kind of friends do you work with to bring everything? Because I saw cochon, so the dry sausage and the salami, and I noticed there's a hot sauce and things like that. What made you decide to include everything kind of Quebecois in the storefront?
And not only in the store, but at the cider house, in the meal also, we use mostly Quebec food. So we have local partnership with, for example, Les Jardins de la Pinède in Oka and other agricultural company who grow things that we don't grow. So we put those partnership forward in our menu. So for example, the chicken that we have, it's from Ferme La Rose des Vents, which is a great place in Mont-Laurier. So same thing for the cheese. So what is cool is that like they take our product in their boutique and we have their product on our menu and at the boutique also here. So we have a good relationship with others, and at the end, if it goes well for them, it goes well for us. So it's important to support other business like that. So same thing in our cider, the 2 other cider that we will taste. We use also local ingredients to flavor those ciders. So we play with local ingredients like honey or maple syrup also. So that's important for us.
That's amazing. Yeah, and that's super important to us. Is you're always supporting a local business.
Yeah, and like when you go in a local business, it's a proximity, so it's good for the environment. You spend less, the ingredients are less transport, so they are fresher. And at the same time, like for you understand more the development and everything that is required to grow that apple or to grow that salad that you go. So it's important to go ahead and meet the other producers.
I don't know about cider. I know with beer production there's spent grain. What is spent when it comes to making a cider? Like, is there apples left over? Is there any kind of end product? And do you, let's say, give that to a farm for chickens or pigs to eat, or how does that work?
They are for apples. So after we press the apples to do the apple juice, so we do everything here. So we grow, we press, and we ferment. So when we press the apples, there is like the pulp of the apple, but unfortunately we tried to find ways to reuse this, but it's not a success right now. Still working on it.
I guess just compost for now, since it is.
It's compost for now. So
I mean, even compost, you can still do something with compost. The compost is giving back to the environment, so that's the important part. Some of your labels are pretty unique. Who does the label design?
So it's Bleu Outre-mer.
Okay.
It's a design company in Quebec City, which we were working with for the last 4 years. So they develop all our design, and for the drawing, it's a local artist too.
Yeah. And then, obviously, Gabrielle, you mentioned already. Anna, who decides the naming of the ciders, for those that have names?
It depends. It's always linked to our roots. So, for example, Anne and Gabrielle are my sisters.
Okay.
So we all have our ciders. We are 3 sisters.
Yeah.
So it's the legacy series also. So it's like our roots.
Okay.
The Lot 300 series, which is the cans.
Yeah.
It's linked to the first land my ancestors about to grow apples.
Cool.
So it was on the Lot 300 in Saint-Joseph-du-Lac. It's not the current land because now it's a highway there, but it's the first land that we grow apples. So it's an homage, let's say that, to my ancestry. So it depends of what we want to achieve.
Like I saw all or gold on one of them. Is that an award-winning cider or?
They won awards, but for example, or and the glass are two. This is the signature, but these two are ice cider.
Okay.
They both won many awards, but the glass it's because it's ice cider, so it's Lacroix the glass, and the signature it's a very special product.
Okay.
It's a sparkling ice cider, and we create the bubbles with the same method as champagne.
Okay.
So it's not a gas. We don't put gas to create a bubble. It's not artificial. It's really creating in the bottles. Yeah. So it's a very thin bubbles. And when you open it, it's a good pop. It's very festive. So.
Very cool. I like that. I like the uniqueness of it. It's very, it's very cool. I know in the beer industry they're starting to make smoothie beers, which are puree, but. It's like, make sure, if the can looks weird, make sure you open it near a sink because it might pop and hit your ceiling. And I don't know if there's any, the dangers, because alcohol's created through fermentation. I don't know if there's the same dangers where something could pop it at the top and then cider starts pouring it at the top of the fermenter.
It's the fermentation.
Yeah.
So, but we can control it. But when we produce, for example, cidre bouché, it's re-ferment in the bottle. So there is a risk that it blow when we open it.
And then just these jus de pomme, so apple juice, what made you decide we don't need to just serve alcohol, we're going to have just regular apple juice?
Exactly. And now we do it in cans, so it's really easy to drink. That's my, when I'm in the car, like apple juice, no alcohol. It's just refreshing. Like instead of an iced tea that is, or for example, sparkling water, I really like drinking sparkling apple juice, and it's like there's no sugar, it's vegan, no gluten-free, so you just, it's really like only apple juice with bubbles, so it's very refreshing.
Oh, that's great. It's always nice to have that product, and obviously somebody comes with their kid and kid's like, I want a cider, and they're like, here's the cider that you're getting.
Yeah, exactly, and even for adults.
I also noticed, because obviously there's the orchard, but in the back there's kind of a terrace patio type area. Obviously more plans for that this summer, I'm guessing, to have people sitting outside drinking a cider. I saw a dog bed as well. So it's just, you're clearly open to anybody who wants to come and enjoy a cider and enjoy Quebec stuff. Come on down.
Yeah, exactly. So people can come all year long. Even during the winter, people were coming snowshoeing and grab a cider on their way or eat at the cider house. But during the summer, obviously, we have like the fire pit, we have games outside, music. So it's like a cider garden, like a beer garden, but with cider. So people can come and walk in the orchard all year long.
Oh, that's amazing.
And taste cider,
just really draw people here. And obviously, like I mentioned, Point Calumet, the beach club and the Super Aqua Club down the street.
Yeah, and there's the national park of Oka also. So a lot of activities to do in the area. Yeah.
Okay. So myself, I come here, I try your ciders. What are some other cideries or breweries or distilleries in the area you suggest trying?
So just up the hill here in Saint-Joseph-du-Lac, there is Verger La Marche, which is another orchard, and they do ciders. And there is also Domaine La France, which is a distillery and a cidery. And they do also maple. Ooh. So Those are the two other orchards. But you have also a Maison Lavande, for example, which is not an alcohol business, but it's very interesting to go see what they do. And here in Saint-Eustache, La Cabane d'à Côté, and I don't know if you know that cidery,
no.
But it's linked to the Pied de Cochon.
Okay.
So it's very close from here. So there are a lot of things to see here. Intermiel also, which is a honey company where they do alcohol and food. So and a lot of vineyards.
So there's a lot to discover in this area.
Yeah, really.
Now, what is this area of Quebec considered? Because I know, like in the South Shore, it's the Montérégie. Montreal is Montreal. What is this?
Laurentides, Laurentides.
Oh, okay. So it's the part of the no, not the La Naudière. That's another part of Quebec. It's
on the side of
okay. So it's almost there. It's
our neighbor.
Come to Laurentides and go to La Naudière.
Exactly.
Perfect. What's beer? Beer. What's cider number 3? I'm trying.
So it's Le Pionnier.
Okay.
It's a maple cider. So we use a local maple syrup. So it's real maple syrup, and we infuse spices in it to spice it up a bit.
The nose is beautiful.
Yeah.
A toast.
Yeah. So we started doing that cider because we had a sugar shack a few years ago, and we were cider producers.
Yeah.
So it was obvious that we had to do a cider with maple syrup. So and then people really liked it at the sugar shack. So we started doing it all year long. So now it's like we cannot stop doing it. People really liked it.
Wow. Oh my God, this is as a Canadian, this is Canada in a glass. I mean, this is winter Canada in a glass. I could see myself at a cabane à sucre doing the sugar
coffee.
stick, the maple stuff, and then having one of these as well as to like my aperitif. Wow. And it's not like a crazy punch of maple. It's the same thing as the last maple beer I had on the show. It's balanced. And that's what, to me, matters is it's not just a punch of maple in the face. It's nicely clean and balanced. And this is incredible. Wow, so unique too. I've never, like I said, I'm just kind of starting my cider journey, and this is just like, whoa, I don't know where to go from here because this is Canada.
Yeah.
Oh, it's amazing. Now, I don't know if it exists in the cider industry. I know it exists in distilleries and breweries. Are you able to collaborate with another cidery on creating a cider?
We never did it right now. What we did was more exchanging barrels for barrel age with other breweries. Okay. So, for example, we age that product, the Pionnier, in a bourbon imperial stout barrel. So, wow. It's really good. and we have a small quantity of bottles of that product, but it's create like this, but even better because it takes the aroma from the imperial stout and the bourbon, and it's a bit higher in alcohol also. Yeah. So that's the type of thing that we did. So and they did a beer in our barrels of ciders, of fire cider. So
that's awesome. Yeah. No, I love hearing it, and it's obviously you're working with another Quebec company, which is great. I know friends of the show, Kanawaki, he made a cider beer once. And I think it's called a braggot. It's got a very specific name, but so could you see yourselves doing with a brewery is making that cider beer or anything like that? For now, no. Okay. But for example, with other vineyard, we use the pulp of the grapes to macerate in our cider, which is a small cider. It's a cidre bouché. Okay. So it created a pink cider, and it was really cool working with them on this. So. Anybody you'd like to collab with in the area, a vineyard, or like I said, you have Cochon up front. So even just having like their meats on your menu, any collabs you'd like to do when it comes to Lacroix and doing business with either another cidery or whatever business in Quebec, or even maybe go to Ontario and try somebody there, like anybody you'd like to work with? Everybody, that's a good question. It's always fun to collaborate with like other vineyards, for example, winery, because process are really similar between cider and wine. So it's very interesting to exchange with those people. Same thing for breweries, like I think we can learn a lot from barrel age. So, for example, the other brewery like Archibald, we are collaborating with them for barrel age, but we don't do like a common product right now. But it does sound like as a company you're open to do that kind of stuff.
Yeah, for sure. And like as I say, we are very close to local business. So like for us, like even like other agricultural company here, like we want to work with local producer. That's important. So we are close to those people in Saint-Joseph-du-Lac and the Laurentides.
Very cool. Yeah, no, it's always nice that when businesses are more willing to work with each other and not, the way I say it is friendly competition. That's why I said come here first and then go try friends is, we
at the
we
end,
need
we
your
just
business.
want people to come here and go to the other places in Saint-Joseph-du-Lac and enjoy their time and come back. So
Yeah. I mean, you're right off the highway too, so it's pretty much like you guys, and then I just come back and then on my way back to Montreal. But don't drink and drive, as we said, so that's a bad thing. And I'm guessing there's some sort of bicycle route along here as well.
Yeah, exactly. People are coming to do bicycle, road bicycle, a lot of people. So we have events around that also. They can grab a coffee, park here, and go bicycle.
Yeah, it's amazing, and your parking lot's huge. I mean, when I pulled up, I was like, whoa, this place is huge. And we just looked out the back window, and my Phil, my videographer, is like, I'm gonna have to take a little hike to film your orchard after. So it's
and it's at this time of the year in March. It's not the prettiest time of the year to visit the orchard.
No.
But for example, in May it's the flower season, so all the orchards are in flower. So it's beautiful. It's white. It smells good. All in the town. When you come, open your window, and you smell it when you arrive and get out of the highway.
Yeah.
Like it's amazing.
Except for me, I'm allergic to nature, so I need to take antihistamines. But still, it's I have that, so I don't have COVID. I'm sneezing because of my allergies, so there's no reason for that. So what I have to add this now, when it's safe to travel and you have time, because clearly you're very busy. So when you have time and when it's safe to travel, where you don't have to sit on a plane for hours on end with a mask, a cider vacation you'd like to take.
In England.
Okay.
Yeah. I would like to go in UK because it's the biggest cider market in the world. So people are drinking a lot of cider. And it's a different style of cider also, different than what we have here because they don't use the same type of apples. So it's very interesting to see what they do and what are the trends and how cider is always there in the pubs there. So I would really like to go there.
Have you ever done a small cider vacation, let's say, because I know Vermont is just full of apple orchards.
I've been in Vermont, and it's really, there are a lot of breweries and a lot of cideries, so it's really cool also to taste. It's more, the cider is more similar as here, though, because they use similar apples. No, because I know when I went to Vermont on a personal small beercation, I did a beer tour. But part of the beer tour, it was called Citizen Cider. Yes.
And so I actually went to a cidery. And that's where I was like, oh, ciders are super tasty when they're local. I don't know if the big boys produce ciders. I don't know if, the big three, as I call them, Sab and Molson and stuff. I don't know if they make them, but I've been enjoying my cider journey so far. So.
Yeah, but you have to go in Vermont too. But even in Quebec, like in the Laurentides, there are cideries, but also in Rougemont and in other area, there are a lot of cideries to visit.
And you mentioned vineyards too. I've yet to visit any vineyard, so that's on the plans this year. Is also experience local wines, whether it be here or Ontario or Upper New York State, wherever I want to.
You'll have to come back here. Have a good meal with ciders, and after you can go to other wineries.
Yeah, see, even better.
So there are like three wineries.
That's amazing. Yeah, we'll have to put them on the list for all beer inside the wine edition. So amazing. So what's this last cider I'm trying here?
Yes, so it's the chai cider. So you know the chai spices, the tea. So it's infused with that type of tea, and we sweet it with honey. So it's honey from a local producer. Yeah,
the nose is unremarkably chai.
Oh, sorry, I took a sip. But yeah, so for me it's the perfect winter cider.
Yeah.
Well balanced, not too spicy.
Yeah, no.
You feel it like, it's like vin chaud, but in cider. It's
yet again, like all super well balanced, no flavors really punching over each other in any way. My personal favorite is maple, but that's in my nature. But this still, it's like fantastic. It's not just boom, here's cider, or boom, here's apple. They're all super incredibly clean and well balanced. I'm personally very impressed with your cider lineup so far.
And this one, if you eat it, heat it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean. And you drink it outside, like after a cold day. It's really good.
I know a local brewery where I live, Benelux. They did a heated beer, barley wine, when we were allowed to go out and have fun, because they do a cabane sucre, like you do, but they do like a local one in Verdun, and they were doing heated beers, and I'm like, well, that doesn't sound right. And I had one. I'm like, oh my god, like this works. How does this work? It's not supposed to work. So, yeah, I can imagine this heated up and maybe kicks up the chai a little more spicy, but it's the way I'm having it personally, I enjoy it. I'm sure everybody has different taste buds.
Yeah.
You know, we've discussed it before where women have better taste buds than men. So it's clear that whoever is making your cider has a very amazing palate. So.
Oh, it's a man though.
No.
But I'm a taster, so I taste everything.
Well, you need both ends. You got to make sure that the guys and the ladies enjoy the beer.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So this one, we are very happy. It was not an SAQ, but it will be an SAQ this spring. Yeah. So it's a good news.
Yeah.
We're really very happy of it.
I personally don't know, but is the SAQ difficult to deal with? Do you have to give them certain numbers, or is that just?
It's more a long process because they open an appel d'offres.
Okay.
And then you submit your product, and they pass a lot of tests, quality tests, tasting, label, and everything. And when something is wrong, for example, you forget something on the label, you need to change it. So it takes a long time.
And then clearly, because we are in Quebec and we do have the language laws, it's French first and then English. So.
Yeah, but that's okay. Our products are in French, but it's a long process. But we're glad to work with SAQ. Like they are putting cider forward, and Quebec produce. It's part of their pillars right now. Yeah. So it's a good thing for us, and we're very happy to have this cider.
And you're also able to go outside Quebec, right? When it comes to the cider, because it is a different license, you're able to, if you wanted to go to Ontario or America or overseas, you're able to do that, right?
Yeah, you're able to do that. We don't. We focus on Quebec. I think we have a lot to do to educate our customers around cider, to show the different varieties. So, for example, if you like a specific type of cider, and then you evaluate in your taste, and you like other. So there is a lot of room for education around cider. So right now we are focusing on Quebec, but yes, some other cideries are selling outside.
Amazing, yeah. And like I said, fantastic. My mind is blown with how good these are. And our first ever cider interview too, I'm just, as a beer drinker, you don't expect this, right? Because you just think it's apple juice with alcohol poured in it. So it's, Quebec cider scene, wow, just, it's quite amazing. And I'm very impressed every time I try new Quebec cider, and it's just like, this is fantastic. I can easily drink this instead of beer.
So there is the Cider Week, beginning of May. So this will be the great opportunity for you to taste cider, because a lot of cideries are opening their doors and welcoming customers and doing a special event. So we do here. Yeah. We have a full planning the whole week. And also other bars and restaurants are putting cider first. So it's a great opportunity to taste different type of cider also. So it's from May 5th to May 15th.
Awesome. Yeah. So that'll definitely be added in a link in our show notes if there's the Cider Week website, we're going to be adding
exactly.
That.
So les producteurs de cidre du Québec are putting all the schedule.
Amazing. So for the Lacroix brand, what's next? Adding more tables, even in the restaurant, or adding things outside to, we're going to start going outside Quebec. What's next is the brand?
What's next? So operating a full year without closing because of COVID.
I know.
With our cider house. So that will be a big part. Also, we are launching a new product in cans in the grocery stores in May.
Okay.
So for the cider week, so we are very excited about it. So stay tuned.
Awesome. This has been a fantastic talk. The ciders honestly blew my mind today. I was not expecting this. I'm very, very happy that you allowed us to come and speak with you about the business. I look forward to coming back during cider week or whenever I can this summer if we're not super busy. Obviously going to other cideries, vineyards, distilleries, and breweries in Quebec, Ontario, eventually America. We'll deal with them later. But that's the plan is we do want to support kind of the eastern part of Canada and the US for as long as we can and keep places like yourselves, get your voices out there for visitors coming up from Vermont who haven't been here before. They see us, they come here, and that's what matters to us is we're getting your name out to the public. So for those who don't know.
Thank you for coming here.
Once again, thank you very much. I have honestly no other questions for you. Thank you once again for the ciders. Let people know where they can find you.
Yeah, so they can find us on Instagram and Facebook, so Cidrerie Lacroix. And we have a website where they can order also our ciders and our other food product, so cidrerielacroix.com.
And for those who want to type in the address, what is the address of the location to come and visit you?
Yeah, so it's 649 Chemin principal at Saint-Joseph-du-Lac in Quebec.
Amazing.
So 30 minutes from Montreal, 30, 40, depending of where you are from in Montreal, but not so far.
Perfect. So everything's going to be in the show notes. Click on the links that are added. As for us, allbeerinside.com is the website. Add all beer inside on all social media. And as I say at the end of all episodes, drink craft, not crap.